Namaste to all of you. We are ready to start the session now. Now, just before we get into the session, for new joinees, as I told you in the beginning of the session itself, I would request you to refrain from asking questions. Why? Because it is only for your benefit, right? Because if you don't interrupt me, I wouldn't lose the flow, and I can perhaps add additional remedies which can actually go about and be of a huge amount of benefit or a great amount of benefit for you. So before we go ahead, as of now, if you have any questions pertaining to the sessions that we previously had, you're more than welcome to raise your hands. I would unmute you and you can ask your questions. We already have a question from a student. I will answer that. But before that, if any of you have any questions as far as the sessions till now, you can raise your hands. I would unmute you. Hello. Namaskaram, Brinda ma'am. Right. Right. Am I audible and clear, ma'am? No disturbances?
No, sir. Am I audible? And
yeah, your voice is very feeble, ma'am, but that's okay. I'll manage, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am. No, ma'am, your voice is not audible. Ma'am, is it pertaining to the question that you had asked me on WhatsApp? Any which ways I would be covering that question.
Yes, sir. Then I will unmute myself.
Yeah, what is the other question, ma'am? Can you just come closer to...
Is my voice clear now?
Yes, go ahead.
It is the same question which I had messaged you on WhatsApp. Should I repeat it or...
No, ma'am. I'll read it out. If you want, you can repeat it so that all students can also hear it out.
Okay, I'll just repeat it briefly. This was regarding the 6th house remedy which you had given.
Right.
You had mentioned about Kala Purusha Chakra, but I wanted to know, is it enough if we refer to the Kala Purusha Chakra, or should we take our horoscope and try to again calculate based on our lagna for the 6th house and then again...
It is more than sufficient, ma'am. More than sufficient. 100% sufficient. But I will share my screen now, and I will explain to you the importance of Kala Purusha Tattva. The reason I don't want you to get into Kala Purusha Tattva now is you need to grasp the RASHI KARAKATHWAS, the BHAVA KARAKATHWAS properly. Of course, after the Pariharam session is over, we would be going into the predictive astrology class. So 1 month you would have a complete understanding of the RASHI KARAKATHWAS, the BHAVA KARAKATHWAS. That is like the start and finish for every astrologer. After that, you can start applying the Kala Purusha Tattva and you would get amazing results, amazing benefits. I will just give you a glimpse of it now so that all students can also understand the logic behind it. But till then, you need to understand one thing. Nothing is beyond the Kala Purusha Tattva. Why? Because here, in the Vedas, if you're referring to the Vedas as such, there is something called as the cosmic tree. It is an inverted tree. Inverted tree with the roots facing upwards and the branches below. Which means what is there in the universe or what is there in the Brahman is there within you and me. Which means everything in your life is purely based on the Kala Purusha Tattva. So if you follow the remedies as per the Kala Purusha Chakra itself, it is something which is applicable for anybody and everybody, right? So that is the way it is. But of course, when it comes to your horoscope, how would I know, which god to worship? How would I know which place I should worship? Should it be a hill? Should it be a temple near a hill? Should it be a temple near a lake? Or is it something to do with Shiva Varibada? Is it something to do with Vainava Varibada? Varibada means worship for people who are from the northern part of India. What type of worship I should proceed? Which nakshatra I should go? For all that, you should have a complete understanding of the Kala Purusha Tattva. Again, in the Kala Purusha Tattva, immediately you should not superimpose all the planets. No. First, you just take the Kala Purusha and your horoscope and connect it with the bhavas. I will just explain that to you. I will share my screen. I'm just waiting for my pencil to just get charged so that I can share the screen and explain to you. But do you have any other question apart from that, ma'am? The other question that you asked me was something to do with, you'd asked me another question, right? That is in the form of a remedy. What I will do is I will collect all these remedies, and on the 8th day, I will answer that so that it can be collated into one session. Is that fine, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
This clarifies.
Yes. Rajesh, I'm going to unmute you.
Good evening, sir.
Namaskar, Maya. How are you?
Fine, sir. Today is
Yes,
my
sir.
first class, as per
Right.
you know.
Congratulations.
Actually, I have done first session, and in first session, I have some doubts.
Sure,
Can
go
I
ahead.
ask?
Go ahead. Sure.
Sir, in delay in marriage, you have the ask us Purusha Puja, because I belong to North India. That's why I have these which you have told us about. First is Purusha Puja and second is Bangles. That is okay. And third concept is not clear for me.
Which concept? Can you just
That
read
is-
it out for me? Should I go to session number 1?
That is hand grading stone, you can say. Amical.
Yeah, hand grinding stone is nothing but the mortar and pestle. The mortar and pestle, which is not something which is just specific to the southern part of India. It should be there everywhere. See, you have the
Okay.
masalas, right? So in
Yeah.
home, they grind the masalas, right? Now you have masalas and you buy it from the shop, right? The
Okay.
turmeric powder, the chili powder, the little masalas that people make. So you would have a stone and, you would have a grinding stone. It is called as a
Yeah.
mortar pestle, MORTAR and PESTLE. You can actually go
Okay, sir.
about and Google it and you will get it. That is 1 AM. The second thing that I told you, is about wearing bangles, right? Especially for girls.
Especially for girls.
Yeah. Now here, you need to understand, I actually spoke to you about a specific community in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. Specifically, I referred to the Chettiar community. So I told
That's
you.
clear, sir.
Yeah.
I just have some problem with third option.
What is the
That's
third
why I'm
option?
asking
Can
you.
you just repeat it for me?
You have cleared that is handwriting stone.
Right. Can you
Which you
Google
have
it? Because
already
I
cleared.
want you to be clear. If you want, I will share the screen right now. Let us Google it so that you will get a picture of it, right? So that the people who are going to see the session after you also should be benefited. Okay. Right.
Okay.
iPad, desktop.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I will ask you if any doubt then.
Yeah. All of you can see my screen? All of you?
Yes.
Sir. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it clear now?
Absolutely clear, sir.
Yes. Right.
So, what is Haritaki? You have mentioned for evil eye.
Okay.
That is not clear.
HARITAKI. You can Google it.
Yeah.
You'll get it. It will be available in every Indian country drugstore.
Okay, sir.
Right? And you can eat it also regularly, especially early in the morning or late in the night. Late in the night means, you finished your dinner. So before you go to sleep, at least about 1.5 hours, right? It will supply a lot of oxygen to the brain. Haritaki, Haritaki, has become very popular as of now. Or early in the morning, it would clean your stomach. Right?
Okay, sir.
That is the other uses of this. Any other doubt? Anybody else has a doubt?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Aya Divakar, remember you were trying to ask me a question on day one. So, do you have any question? I would be more than happy to answer it.
No, sir. No, sir.
Sharing. Nandring. Okay. Now, I would just let me just see if the pencil is charged. It's at 84%. We will manage. Now, I will just, before we start the session, I will just give you a glimpse on the Kala Purusha Tattva, because it may not be very important as far as the Parihara session now is concerned. But all of you need to understand, astrology is like an ocean. There is no end to it. But that does not mean now, just because I tell it is an ocean, no, it does not mean that, I have so much to study. And there's always this mentality where learning is never ending. But the first most important thing is, whatever I learned today, I should start applying it today. Sometimes, you have different types of astrologers, especially students. The moment you start learning astrology, you will go here, you will go there, you will learn this technique, that technique, right? You will spend years and years learning astrology. And you would have amassed techniques after techniques. But when somebody tells you to predict, you won't be able to predict. Why? Because you have combined all the techniques together. So it is almost like, vomiting out something. So my suggestion is, in the villages, you would find astrologer. They will just know one point. With that one point, they will run their entire life. They will run their entire show. Simple points, not major points. Anybody you go to, or anybody goes to them, they will catch hold of 7.5 cycle of Shani, Ashtama Shani, Ardha Ashtama Shani. Some concept, some little concept, which is like, below the basic itself. But still, using that, they will manage their life. So the solution is, whatever we are getting today in the form of the Parihara session, I want each and every one of you to start applying it right from day one. Waiting is a waste of time, dear students. Waiting is a waste of time. Okay. Today, right today onwards, I should start applying it in whatever way as possible. And most importantly, all of you are being groomed to be professional astrologers. All of you. So, as soon as possible, you should start practicing, prescribing with whatever you know. Because any which ways, you have my support. You don't have to worry. When you have a doubt, when you have a clarity, when you're seeing a horoscope, you don't understand something, you're more than welcome to stay in touch with me, because my goal is to groom all of you. Start applying all of this. Start applying all of this in your life. Start prescribing to other people. If you know different languages, which I don't know, I just know Tamil and English. So if you know Hindi, if you know Telugu, if you want to do something with this, you're more than welcome, right? No permissions required, right? So, but first you need to grasp this completely. Why I'm telling you this is, Parihara has many components. Today we are discussing about Parihara, where I'm covering everything. Then, as Madam raised a question, suddenly I thought about, yes, there is something called as the Kala Purusha Tattwa, and there is a huge scope there. Then there is something called as Karma Parihara, because you know what? Every nakshatra carries with it a karma based on your horoscope. So what do we do for that? So like this, it just goes on and on. But what I would do is I would integrate one by one. I would integrate the Kala Purusha Tattva as we are getting into the predictive astrology session one by one. But just to give you a glimpse on how to understand the Kala Purusha Tattva and how to understand the beauty of the Kala Purusha Tattva and apply it to your horoscope, apply it to predictions in future. As of now, please don't touch it, because you will get confused. You won't know what to apply, what to take, and it would all be jumbled up. As I told you, we are all connected first with the Brahman. So here, when we are talking about the Brahman, we are ideally talking about the Kala Purusha or the Adi Purusha. So whatever is happening in your life has to be connected with the Kala Purusha Chakra. So as long as you follow the Kala Purusha Chakra, you are sorted out 100%. So let me just share my iPad. All of you can see my iPad screen?
Not at all, yeah, it's loading.
Sharing. Yes, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now, day 2, I spoke to you about remedies pertaining to the 6th bhava. 6th bhava is what? Loans. 6th bhava is what? Litigations. So anything associated with the 6th bhava, like the negatives are loans, the negatives are litigation, the negatives are disease. The positives are what? The positive is just a job. You know, a job for survival. That comes from the 6th bhava. Of course, the 10th bhava is called as the karma sthana. So the solution for every bhava, you know, not just the 6th bhava, will operate from the 9th bhava of the bhava that is actually in trouble or in problem. Similarly, if you want to actually see the goodness associated with that bhava also, if you want to accentuate the goodness associated with any Shubha bhava, again the 9th from that bhava. Now I'm layering things one by one so that you don't get confused. Is it only the 9th bhava that I need to look into? No, not necessarily. I'm adding one thing so that, I would add one by one so that all of you don't get confused. What are the other Shubha bhavas? The 5th. What is the other Shubha bhava? The 11th. But as of now, you just remember the 9th bhava, which is considered as the bhava for Bhagya. Now the question here is, somebody has a different lagna, right? Let's say somebody has a Dhanusha lagna, right? So automatically, when we are referring to what? When we are referring to the 6th from Dhanusha lagna, automatically what would it be? Anybody? Does anybody wants to try and answer that? The 6th bhava for Dhanusha lagna would be here, right? It would be Rishabha lagna or Rishabha Rashi to be precise. So does it mean that, you know what? I have a Dhanusha lagna, the 6th, which indicates problems for me, that needs to be sorted out. So I need to look into what? I need to look into the 9th from the 6th. So do I need to look into this bhava here? Right. This was the question that was basically raised. And what I told her was, first you need to understand the Rashi Karakatwa, the Graha Karakatwa. Forget the Graha Karakatwa, that can be applied for other purposes. But most importantly, you need to understand the Rashi Karakatwa alone just to apply the concept of Kala Purusha Tattwa into your Kundali. I will tell you why. There is a beautiful way of prediction in astrology where you don't need anything. You don't need even the Navagrahas, which is inside the horoscope. Now, Dhanusha Lagna. Let's start filling in the bhavas. First bhava, second bhava, third bhava, fourth bhava, fifth bhava, sixth bhava, seventh bhava, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Okay. So now you need to understand one important thing here. This here is the Kala Purusha Kundali, and this here is your horoscope. Now, whichever your lagna is, you can put it that way. Now, the secret here is just using this you can predict, right? You don't need the grahas. Just using this you can predict. which means God is a great mathematician. Okay. He has 12 rules, 12 kinds of people he has created. In those 12 kinds of people, there are variations. There are little bit of additions and subtractions. There are little bit of minuses and plus. That is what is decided by the grahas and nakshatra. But the pattern, which means if you're a professional astrologer, or even if you're actually wanting to know your horoscope, study your horoscope, this is all that you need to do. What do you need to know now? The Kala Purusha's ninth bhava is my lagna. Very good, very auspicious, because the lagna indicates me. The ninth bhava indicates what? Bhagya. The ninth bhava indicates what? Higher form of education. The ninth bhava is the Kala Purusha is here. Ninth bhava is Dhanusha, which is considered as a dharma trikona. So a person who is dharmic, a person who seeks advice, a person who wants advice, a person who wants higher education or higher forms of knowledge. The ninth bhava also indicates the father, somebody who is or who wants to be or who is guided by or is closely attached to the father figure. The ninth bhava also indicates foreign travel. So now somebody who yearns to move away from the land. Why? Because the more you move away from the lagna, especially once you cross the seventh bhava, you wouldn't like to be in your native place. You would like to move out. First prediction over. Second prediction, the second bhava associated with the 10th bhava. Anybody who's coming with the Dhanusha Lagna, start predicting like this, right? The second bhava associated with the 10th bhava. The second bhava in your horoscope indicates earnings. The 10th bhava in your horoscope indicates what? Karma, which means what? Profession. So anything to do with earnings, anything to do with, karma, anything to do with, what you want associated with your karma is good. This is not the point here because we are discussing about the Parihara session. Likewise, you can go on with the entire horoscope beautifully without even putting the grahas. Don't put the grahas immediately. You'll get confused. You won't know what to take, what not to take. But now you need to understand which are the most important points in this horoscope. Here, the fifth bhava, which is considered as the Panchamasthana. The fifth bhava, which is considered as, what? The sthana of what I desire in my life, what I want in my life. Naturally, the fifth bhava becomes the Uttarasthana. Dhanusha Lagna, they are children. Any Dhanusha Lagna, don't look into your horoscope. Don't look into the planets in the horoscope or the grahas in the horoscope. Start predicting. Your children will be good. They will perform well in higher education. Whatever you have left out in life, you will actually push it onto your children. That is one point. But as of now, what we want, the fifth bhava indicates what I want or what I desire in life. The fifth bhava in my horoscope becomes the Kala Purusha's first bhava. The first bhava indicates the Agni tattwa, right? Or the element of fire, right? And where is the element of fire most potent? It is potent in Tiruvannamalai. So, sir, madam, if you have a Dhanusha Lagna, if you want to achieve something in life, if you want to gain something in life, the Kala Purusha's Lagna becomes your fifth bhava. The Kala Purusha's fifth bhava becomes your Bhagyadipati. So the moment you actually go to Tiruvannamalai regularly, why? Because it is a very important power vortex, or it is the most important power vortex associated with sun. You will get what you want in your life. Now you're getting your earning here, but somewhere here you need to understand your sixth bhava indicates your job. The sixth bhava is associated with the 10th bhava. So you are in a job, you are getting your money, but still there is some politics also which will keep happening in your job, which will keep happening in your job atmosphere. The seventh bhava indicates relationship. The seventh bhava indicates marriage or kalatra. The seventh bhava becomes the Kala Purusha's third bhava. So now what? This seventh bhava, which is the Kala Purusha's third bhava, becomes the Badhagadibadi for Dhanusha. Which means there would always be a disparity between what you want to communicate and what the other person wants to understand. A disparity associated with the husband and wife relationship. So now, if you're asking a question pertaining to the seventh bhava, then automatically you need to actually connect it to the Kala Purusha's third bhava. Of course, I will answer that later part of the question later on. So this is the most beautiful way as to how you can use the Kala Purusha Tattva in order to find out where your life is leading to. Simple example I will give you, right? Somebody is coming to, and this is how people predict. Okay, they don't take ages to find out what is there in your horoscope. No, they have understood the logic. Let us say somebody who has a Kanya Lagnam, okay, is coming to you, right? Somebody who has a Kanya Lagnam is coming to you, and they are asking about something to do with marriage, or somebody is already married, right? You want to impress this person now. Kanya Lagnam. So this becomes the Kanya Lagnam. This becomes the Kala Purusha's 6th bhava. And here, their 7th bhava becomes the Kala Purusha's 12th bhava. Don't look into the horoscope. Don't see where the planets are, where the grahas are. Nothing you need to do. Ask them this question. Sir, your marriage is a failure. Your marriage is difficult. Your only goal, what is happening in your mind, or what is actually floating in your mind is, at least in my next janma, will I get a good husband? At least in my next janma, will I get a good wife? The answer would be yes, sir. They would be shocked. How do you know? Why? Because your 7th bhava, which indicates the Kalatra, becomes the Kala Purusha's Varyasthan, becomes the Moksha Sthanam. That means that's the reason you are asking, at least in my next birth, will I get a good husband? Will I get a good wife? Similarly, you go to a person who has a Meena Lagnam. The 7th bhava becomes the 6th bhava. You ask one Meena Lagna person who has had a successful married life, the answer would be no. So does it mean that, you refrain them from marriage? No. This should be the base while actually going about and matching horoscopes. See, immediately we go to Nakshatra Puratam. Nakshatra Puratam is just 20%, sir. The rest of it purely operates from the bhava, purely operates from the graha. I know so many people, and if you're a practicing astrologer who is a professional, you will know people who are 70 plus years old. Nakshatra Puratam is not there, but still they are living a happy married life. Happy does not mean no problem. Everybody has problem. They're living a happy life. Why? Because there is a Katta Puratam. Katta means what? Anything to do with, the horoscope pertaining to the bhavas. Anything to do with the Graha Puratam is there. And to understand how to match horoscope, this should be the element here, which means first the counseling should be given. This is how your married life would be. Some astrologer would say you have Rahu, Kethu, Sarpadosham, Kujadosham, all of that is fine. They are like additional sprinklers to the horoscope. But this is what matters. And that's the reason I started by telling it is the Brahman. It is like you are this inverted tree. The root is from the Kala Purusha. The root is from the Brahman. So whatever has to operate from there. Your horoscope is merely the branch which is taking the water, or which is actually taking the cosmic energy. So as long as you follow the Kala Purusha Tattva, which is as is, it will go about and work out 100% for you. For add-ons, which is my special place, where should I go? Because see, everybody goes to Tirupati. Does everybody become rich? Does everybody get a clarity? Some people don't. So which is my special place? Some people say they go to Tirupati, and only when they go to Tirupati and come back, they face problems after problems. So what is the reason for that? So the answer to that is the Kala Purusha. The reason I'm telling you this is not to apply it immediately, but keep it in your mind. Don't put the grahas, right? When Madam told me about this, she also shared about the grahas. Remove the grahas. A Shani Sevai combination or a Shani Mars combination, that means what it means, as I told you. But don't actually put it immediately as of now. First start looking at the bhavas, then get into the grahas. Right? Everybody understood? Can we move on to the session? Let me stop sharing here. Now let's begin the session. Let me stop sharing. Let's begin the session with a combination, which is a remedy for a combination associated with Mangala and Shani, Mars Shani combination. Now, I would have repeated this combination again and again. Please remember, dear students, I may be repeating something again and again. It just means that I'm trying to convey something. If I'm again and again coming up with a remedy for a Mars Shani combination, it is because a lot of people go through immense amount of struggle, immense amount of pressure owing to this combination. So I'm discussing different ways as to how you can actually go about and address it, right? So you can write down, for a Mars Shani combination or a Mangala Shani combination, what you need to do is, number one, write down, apply oil to the lock and keys in your house. So what is this logic between lock and key and Mars and Shani? See here, anything to do with this process of rusting, anything to do with this process of corrosion is all about Mars and Shani. So whenever you see that there are so many things in your house which are getting frequently rusted, or let's say suddenly you feel that, you know what, the things in your house are getting rusted, then it means somebody in the house is having a Mars and Shani combination. Why? Shani indicates iron. A Mars and Shani combination indicates rusting of iron. So the moment you put grease, or even before it starts itself, you put grease, you put oil, and you make sure that everything is perfect, paka, this combination won't trouble you, right? So number one, apply oil to the lock and key in your house. Two, you would have the shutters. If you're having a shop, if you're having a factory, so you need to grease the shutter with oil or grease. Put grease to it. Number three, you can put oil or grease or whatever is required. The idea is corrosion should be avoided or it should be addressed. Rusting should be avoided. It should be addressed. You can put oil to the hinges in the windows and doors. Again, if you have a house which has a window which has an iron grill, or even if there is some iron grill anywhere in the house, apply oil regularly to it. Now, what would this remedy do, sir? What would this remedy do, ma'am? First is, Mars is what? It is the Karaka for blood. Mars is what? It is the Karaka for land. Mars is what? It is the Karaka for your husband. Mars is what? It is the Karaka for your sibling. Shani is what? It indicates delay. Shani indicates bitterness. Shani indicates trials and tribulations. Shani is considered as Manda, which means what? Somebody who's slow. Shani indicates something to do with not the best of relationship that a person needs to actually go about and have with another person. So automatically the relationship between the husband and wife will improve. The health of the husband and wife will improve. Above all, Mars indicates what? Mars indicates action. So you want to take an action for something in your life, but somewhere or the other, you're not able to take that action to that next level. So that would be addressed. Now here, there are two ways to look at combinations. One, I've already told you, how you should look at combinations. But here, let me introduce one more concept to you. The reason I'm introducing concept one by one, layer by layer, is because it becomes easily digestible. If you want, I can just give this entire download to you immediately. You will get confused what to take and what not to take. So now I'm going to introduce a simple way, an additional way to layer it into what you're already doing as far as the combinations are concerned. Let me share the screen now. All of you can see my screen? Except Yeah, I think all of you can share, see my screen now. Okay. Now, it can be anywhere in your horoscope, but I'm just giving this to you as an example. Okay. Now we are discussing about the Mars-Shani combination. Now, is it a Mars and Shani combination, or is it a Shani and Mars combination? This is something that you need to understand here, right? So let us put the Graha Mars. I'm just giving the 2-letter for it. And let us put this Graha at 6 degree. Okay. Let us put Shani here also, right? And let us put it at 20 degree. So now, as I told you in the beginning, we are talking about what? Grahas traveling anti-clockwise. Now, don't look at Vakra Grahas. I will tell you all that when we get into the predictive astrology session. So here, clockwise motion. So we have a Mars. Where is Mars moving towards, sir, ma'am? It is moving towards Shani. So it is a Mars-Shani combination. So how will I connect the dots now? Where is the problem? The problem is with my husband. The problem is with my land. The problem is with my sibling. The problem is with my action. Okay, sir. Now, let us take it the other way around. Okay, what I'm going to do is, let me rub this. Let me put Shani here, sir. Let me put Shani here, ma'am. Let me put Mars here. So now what happens here is, it becomes a what? It becomes a Shani-Mars combination. So what are the impacts of that? Shani indicates my job. Shani indicates, something to do with my Ayul. So here, Shani associated with Mars. Stubbornness. Problems in job. I'm having bosses who are not actually responsive to me, who are not appreciating me. I'm having issues pertaining to my bones, issues pertaining to my joints, issues pertaining to my leg. Right? This is the way you look at it. Now again, we can also talk about combinations. Remember, I spoke to you about the nakshatra. So let us say you have a Mars here in Pusa nakshatra, or what is called as Pushya nakshatra. So Mars is taking the constellation of Pushya nakshatra, which is a nakshatra ruled by Shani. Beginner student, you don't have to worry. I will let you know, about nakshatras, the grahas they rule. All of that will come later on for you because you just completed session 5 as of now. So that is different. So here, Mars takes the shara of Pusa nakshatra or Pushya nakshatra, which is ruled by Shani. So this becomes a Mars-Shani combination. Right? It is as simple as that. Now let us say you have a Shani here and it is in Avitta nakshatra or Dhanishta nakshatra, which is a nakshatra ruled by Mars. So now you have a Shani-Mars combination here. So this is all that you need to understand a little further as far as combinations are concerned in order to gain further clarity, especially when you apply something to do with remedies, right? So let's get into the session here. So I've given you the remedy pertaining to what? Pertaining to a Shani-Mars combination. And Shani-Mars itself, you can write in your note. Please write down the notes because what I'm telling you will be of great utmost value for you right from today. 1 year from now, 2 years from now, you should call me and tell me, sir, I don't know how I met you. I don't know when I met you. My life is transformed. Personally, my life is transformed. Personally and professionally, my life is transformed. I've been helping so many people. Owing to that, my life is settled. This is what I want to hear from all of you. And the start for that is you have to start writing everything down. Because see, you cannot remember everything at one go. Somebody is coming to you, somebody has a problem, it could be you. You need something to refer upon. The more you write, the more you revise, you would be able to remember. That's one, okay? And as I'm telling you all this, I'm giving you a logic behind it. Why is it that I'm taking so much of effort to explain this to all of you? Because for you and for all the people who are going to listen to this later on, They should know how to apply it, the logic behind it. Which means for each and every point that you are writing, I want you all to give a small space, a small gap before you write the other point. Because tomorrow you should be able to come up with your own point. I'm just giving you things based on my knowledge. But you should apply your knowledge. Remember, all of you are greater than me. You're 1,000 times greater than me. You're the greatest. Always keep that in mind. So you should come up with your own points based on your reasoning, based on your logic. You should prescribe it on yourself, prescribe it to your family members, see the result. That is also a remedy, right? So this is one thing, right? So again, as I told you, make sure that nothing in the house is rusting. As I told you, something to do with this process of rusting actually indicates this combination, which means nails in the house, pins in the house, a table fan, a ceiling fan, a motorcycle chain, all of this will give you an indication of this process. And when will you see it clearly? See, a Shani-Mars combination is there in the horoscope. Every time will I have a problem? To a certain extent, yes. But when will it be more pronounced? During a Dasha Bhukti of Shani-Mars. Or when a Gochara of a Asubha Graha crosses across the Shani-Mars combination. So let's say you have a Shani-Mars combination in Tula Rashi, based on the example that we discussed sometime. So whenever there is a Shani transiting what? Transiting across Tula Rashi or associated with Tula Rashi. Associated means what? Aspecting. Remember on the day 2 itself, I told you, Shani would have a drishti to certain bhavas. So today, where is Shani? Is it aspecting the Tula Rashi? In that Tula Rashi, do I have a Shani-Mars combination? That time it will work. When there is a malefic transit of Rahu, if Rahu is in Tula Rashi, by the way, Rahu is in what? Mesha Rashi as of now. Where is Kethu? Kethu is in Tula Rashi. So if you have a Shani-Mars combination, let's say somebody has a Shani-Mars combination in Tula Rashi, and we are talking about the current transit of Rahu Kethu. You don't have to tell anything. Prediction is very, very simple. Ma'am, sir, now you will be having an issue pertaining to your land. You will get into a litigation pertaining to your land. Be careful about your brother. Be careful about your sibling. Be careful about what? Be careful about your husband. Don't take loans. Don't accumulate loans. If you're actually going to do something pertaining to your property, don't pledge your property. Be careful about buying a property. You may get duped. Predictions will just flow, sir. The next question is, till when I should wait? Till a transit of Guru happens. Why? Because Guru is now what? Guru needs to transit to Mesha Rashi. From Mesha Rashi, it will look at Tula Rashi, it will be sorted. So till what? Till April next year, be careful, sir. Be careful, ma'am. This is all his predictions, sir. That's it. Simple. Right. So next, let's get into the next combination here. The next combination is what? And see, you don't have to know your horoscope to understand this combination. If there is something rusting, oh, okay, fine. There is a Mars-Shani combination happening somewhere. Either in the Gochara or either in my horoscope. So it is time to do that. If I'm finding a delay, just put some oil to the lock and key. I will give you another simple remedy. It's just coming with the flow. Sir, ma'am, lock is what? Lock is what? Lock is made of iron, that is okay. But lock and key, here, lock represents Mars. Sorry, lock represents Shukra. And the key represents Mars. So we are talking about, if there is a problem between the husband and wife in the house, make sure that you put oil to the lock and key. Make sure that you change the locks in your house. If the locks are getting rusted, it will automatically lead to anyonyam or goodness associated with the husband and wife. Right. The next combination we are going to discuss. Now, this is in order to buffer. Just a minute. The impact of those who have a combination of sun and moon. Sun and moon combination, usually when it happens for people, those are born during the Amavasya Tithi, right? And a sun and Venus combination in the horoscope. Sun, Venus combined, or Venus, Sun combined, can write it down. Sun, moon combined or moon, sun combined. What happens is, now first you need to keep this in mind. All combinations are not bad combination. They have their positives. Here we are discussing it purely from the perspective of remedies. So when we are discussing remedies, what we are just talking about the negatives involved with these combinations and how do we go about and address them. That is what we are discussing as of now. But there are multitudes of goodness associated with each and every combination. That I will address when we get into what? When we get into the predictive astrology session in the month 3. That is different altogether. But as of now, what is the problem associated with this combination? How do we address that? See, Sun, Moon, Venus, they all indicate anything to do with eyesight. So whenever you have a combination of Sun or Moon or Sun or Venus, either ways, you can alternate this, right? Somewhere there would be issues associated with eyesight, or there would be mental confusions. Why? Sun indicates your soul, sir. Sun indicates your Atma, ma'am. For everybody, he's the Atma Karaka. When the Atma Karaka, or what signifies your soul, is associated with Chandra, who indicates what? Chanchala, right? Who indicates something which is not steady, then it creates confusion. Remember, I told you in the day 3, Madinutpam is what is ruled or governed by Moon, the special intelligence of Moon. But when it comes to predictive astrology, anything associated with Moon is what? Chanchala Buddhi, Chanchala Manam, not stable. So Sun-Moon combination, what it would do? It would not give you a stable mind. The father in the house would keep going from one place to another place. Or he may not be responsible as he is supposed to be. Why? Because not steady here. Sun indicates eyesight. Moon indicates what? Something which is waning, something which is fading, problem associated with eyesight. This is the way you need to remember. Shukra, automatically a story associated with Shukra where he is one-eyed. Sun indicates something to do with eyes again. So again, problems associated with the eyes. So all these 3 grahas are associated with eyesight. So this combination can lead to problems associated with eyesight. The solution is very, very simple. Simple solution. There are solutions for 1 rupee. There are solutions for 1 lakh. What do you want? It does not mean 1 lakh solution is greater than 1 rupee solution. No. As astrologers, you should know what to prescribe to what person. Some person may have 50,000 rupees. He will do something. Some person may not have something. He should also be able to do something because tomorrow he will be the person who is actually rewarding you. I'm talking about it from my experience, right? Small people, they become big and they reward you. They give you gifts after gifts. I'm talking about my own experience. Simple solution for this, sir. Simple solution for this, ma'am. Regularly donate coconuts. That's all. Simple. You donate it, you give it to the temple, you give it to the pujari, you give it, tell them to break it, don't bring it to the house, give it to some person. Anything you do, regularly you keep donating to coconuts. Any amount of coconuts. What is the reasoning behind it? Coconut has 3 eyes, right? Because we're talking about the 3 grahas here. 3 eyes, 3 holes. The 3 eyes more or less represent the 3 eyes of Lord Parameshwara. So the moment you donate coconuts, problems associated with this combination goes. Simple, simple solutions, sir. Simple, simple solutions, ma'am. No complications, right? What will this do? It will address issues associated with what? Associated with confusion. See, that's the reason they say people, those who are born during Amavasya, are thieves. No, it is so bad. It is not the way you look at things. Of course, there are certain degrees. I was just discussing about degrees. During certain degrees, when a child is born during the Amavasya Tithi, yes, they can be extremely, extremely confused and they can take decisions which is not conducive for them and others. But there are people who have immense amount of yogas who are born during the Amavasya Tithi. One example that I can give you is the late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. He lived, he ruled, his family is living, his family is ruling. Wonderful poet, wonderful administrator. So There are a lot of people born during the Amavasya Tithi who do good in life. It purely depends on the degree. But this thing about mental confusion will always be there. This thing about not having the clarity what to do next, not having that steadiness, completely, drifted away into what? Drifted away into a lot of imagination, problems associated with the eyesight. All of that will be there. This will be addressed, right? Next is a remedy for those who are facing delays in marriage, or those who are facing a delay in marriage owing to afflicted eighth bhava, or owing to any form of affliction in the horoscope. See, what is this eighth bhava? The seventh bhava is considered as a kalatra sthana, right? The second from that seventh bhava is considered as a mangalya sthana. Mangalyam is what? The Mangala Sutra. So for a stree, it indicates the ayul of the husband. What about the husband? The second from the seventh. You have to get married to somebody, right? Then you start a family life. So automatically it indicates a marriage which is pursued upon, and owing to a marriage, you get a family life. So when the eighth bhava in your horoscope is afflicted owing to a placement of pava grahas, one common thing is kuja dosha, mangala dosha, right? Automatically, there would be a delay in marriage. Or let's say the marriage is finalized. Here, this is not even a remedy for those who are having a delay in marriage. You have found the alliance, but somehow, they are hesitant. They are saying, no, the Attamadhipati's dasha is running. The horoscope has so many doshas. We like the groom, we like the bride to be, but somehow we are afraid. Somehow we are afraid what to do if we get married and if we have problems in the family. So it is about afflictions associated with the eighth bhava, wherein you are not able to take that next step towards marriage. Somehow there is a finalization. Husband, this boy is going for a good job. He settled somewhere. The family is good. The girl is also good. The girl also has wonderful qualities of behavior. But the horoscope is playing a hindrance. Or you like everything in the horoscope, everything in the family. There is no nakshatra purtam, sir. There is no rashi purtam, sir. But both of them like each other. Both the families like each other. There is a lot of similarities in the family and they want to get married. So how to make sure that this delay, wherein what? Problems in the marriage, during the marriage and after the marriage is addressed, right? What you need to do for that? The solution again, simple solution. It is not a 1 rupee solution. It is a minus 1 rupee solution. I will tell you the logic behind this. Plan a marriage. Again, repeating, please write down. Plan a marriage and conduct a marriage without taking any forms of gifts. What is this gift? In Tamil, we call it as moi. Moi means what? One is, when you're going for a wedding, you will give gifts, right? You will give wall clock, you will give this, that. But sometimes, or we give moi, which is what? You put money in the envelope and you give it. So I Googled that for all of you who are in the northern part of India. I think you call it shagun. I don't know if it is right or wrong. You can correct me for the people who listen to it later on. Basically offering money in an envelope. You should not accept that, or you should not accept any forms of gifts. See here, simple gifts that you get out of love and affection, that is always about Shukra. But sudden gifts that you get in life, which is in the form of what? You're in a wedding, somebody is coming and gifting you. It is always the Attama Bhava. If you're taking dowry from a person, that is also the Attama Bhava, right? Because you didn't do anything for it. You are getting money without any effort. That is the Attama Bhava. So when you don't touch the Attama Bhava associated with moi, moi in Tamil, I've given to you what it actually means. Taking money or gifts, you can write in the wedding invitation itself. During the marriage, you can write in the wedding invitation itself. All of you can come. Your blessings are important to us. You do not, or gifts are not entertained. Please don't bring gifts, right? Gifts not accepted. You can do that. And the marriage will go smoothly, sir. The marriage will go smoothly, ma'am. The married life would be smooth, right? Many VVIP weddings. Forget about VVIP weddings, okay? Weddings in our family itself. Somebody in the family would have invited us for a wedding. we would have, bought some costly gift for them because, they are our relatives, and we would be going there and they would say, no, we don't want gifts. We would be offended. We would feel that, what? Why is it that they are making us feel small? We will actually imagine our own stories. But what is happening here? Some sensible astrologer has guided them, or at least some elders would have guided them. See, the elders in the house, it is not that everybody knew astrology, but somehow they knew that there is a significance behind these customs. And all the 101 customs we follow is only related to astrology, sir. Is only related to astrology. So some sensible astrologer has guided them. Elder has guided them. Problem in marriage. Make sure that the marriage is simple. Make sure that, you go to the temple and perform a marriage. Make sure that there is no gifts taken. That's it. Marriage life would be smooth. I have recommended this. I have recommended this to so many people who have doshas pertaining to the horoscope. Because somebody has a dosha, you cannot tell them you cannot get married. Right? The Attama Bhava's dasha is operating. The girl is already 32 years old. Can you tell them, what, wait for 5 more years and you will get married? You have to apply practicality also. So you use this. You use this remedy. You use this and tell them. When it comes to your children, when it comes to other people, this would definitely work out, because I'm seeing people for years now who are living, who have given birth to children. All of this happens, right? So again and again, if I'm repeating something, please understand there is something which is extremely important associated with it. So don't miss out on this. The next remedy is, the next remedy you can write, is to address delays associated with Shani. It can also be a remedy or an enabler in order to strengthen Shani. See, immediately when we think about Shani, all the negativities come in our life. In fact, even while I was talking about combination, what did I tell you? Most of them, what I told you was negative. So whenever you're going to start with the Shani Mahadasha, 7.5 cycle of Shani, Ashtama Shani, what? You would get frightened. Everybody gets frightened. Shani Dasha is coming. 7.5 cycle of Shani is coming. But there are so many beauties associated with Shani, because Shani is the karma karaka. Shani is the Kala Purusha's Labhadibadi. Where is Labha in your horoscope if there is no Shani? So all of this is associated with what? Associated with Shani. And most importantly, for specific lagnas, right? Like for example, if you have a Tula lagna, a Shani Dasha is supposed to be auspicious. Whatever you missed out in life, you're supposed to get during the Shani Mahadasha or Shani Bhukti. So, in order to address issues associated with Shani, wherein you're going through a 7.5 cycle of Shani, Ashtama Shani, Ganda Shani, right? Or you want to strengthen Shani in your horoscope. Why? Because a Shani Dasha is going to give you something good. Or Shani is the Ayul Karaka finally. You want a long Ayul, or you want Ayul Vritti, right? What do you need to do? Simple. Anything to do with Shani, anything to do with buffering the impacts of Shani, anything to do with, strengthening Shani is always associated with Pradosha worship. The more and more you actually go about and worship Lord Shiva, worship Goddess Parvati, during a Pradosha Kala, the more and more the Shani in your horoscope would be strengthened. The least it would actually go about and do harm to your horoscope. 7.5 cycle of Shani, don't worry. Ashtama Shani, don't worry. It can do nothing if you actually go about and regularly make sure that you worship during the Pradosha Kalas. Worship means what? Can you actually go about and do a Pradosha Vrata? Go and do that if you want to. But the simple act of going to a Shivalaya during the Sandhya Kala, during the Pradosha, and actually witnessing the Pradosha itself is a nivarti for everything associated with Shani, or in order to go about and give you the goodness associated with Shani. Again, some people, what they do, today is Pradosham, so morning I will go to the Shivan temple. That is it. My attendance is done. No, don't do that. There is a Kala, there is a time for everything, right? So there is a Pradosha Muhurta. Use that Pradosha Muhurta. How do I find the Pradosha Muhurta? It happens in the evening. All of us know that. Go to the internet, type in Pradosha days, Drik Panchang, right? For your benefit. Okay, I will share it sometime now. So go to Drik Panchang, DRIKPANCHANG, type Pradosha. You will get the list of Pradosha dates. In that Pradosha date, you click on that, you will go there. In that, the Pradosha Muhurta will be there. Make sure that you are in the temple for that entire time. I'm telling you, life will change. Life will be beautiful. Life will be undisturbed. Forget about all your problems in life. That'll vanish. Another thing that you need to understand here is, so Pradosha, what you need to do, use the Pradosha Muhurta time, go to a Shivalaya, just witness the ritual. See Lord Parameshwara, Parvati, the Nandi, the bull. This itself is more than enough. But the next thing what I'm going to tell you is very, very important. Now I've spoken to you about combinations. So you know basically how to understand combinations. So now we are talking about combinations associated with Shani. Right? The first combination, you can write it down. For those who have a Sun and Shani combination, or Surya Shani combination, or Shani Surya combination, Surya Shani combination, or Shani Surya combination, you can use the Pradosha that comes on a Sunday, or you can use the nakshatras of Sun, the Pradosha which comes during the nakshatras of Sun. What are the nakshatras of Sun? Kritiga, Uttiram in Tamil, or what is called as Uttara Falguni, Uttarashada. What would it do? It would actually go about and create avenues for progress. Why? Because Sun indicates progress. Because he is the Atma Karaka. What does the soul wants to do? It wants to progress. Shani indicates obstruction. Right? So it would actually go about and give you progress. It would actually go about and make sure that the barriers that you face as far as something to do with progress is concerned is mitigated. Again, if the fifth bhava is afflicted, why? Because the natural graha which actually goes about and rules the fifth bhava is Sun. Delays in childbirth would be addressed. Anything to do with fracture of bones, that would be addressed. Sudden accidents, they would be addressed. Next is for those who have a Moon Shani combination or a Shani Moon combination. Remember, I told you in the previous session that is called as Punar Pudosham. Creates lot of lags in life. What is the other way of looking at Punar Pudosham? For those who are going through a Janma Shani, right? As of now, if you're going through a Janma Shani, that means what? Chandra. Where Chandra is in your horoscope, right above you, Shani Bhagavan is there. So this is a Shani Moon combination. What you need to do is Monday, the Pradosha which comes on a Monday, or the Pradosha that comes during the Rohini Nakshatra, write down, Hasta Nakshatra, Shravana Nakshatra, go and witness the Pradosha Puja. Right. Next is Mars Shani combination, Shani Mars combination. Just now we started the session itself with this combination, right? You choose a Pradosha which comes during a Tuesday, or the Mrigashira Nakshatra, the Chitra Nakshatra, the Dhanishta Nakshatra, the Nakshatra, and the Pradosham which comes during either of these nakshatras. Next is for those who have a Mercury Shani combination or Shani Mercury combination. See, remember I told you in the beginning of this remedy, it is to strengthen, it is to strengthen and buffer. Shani indicates my job. Shani associated with Mercury, very good sir, very good ma'am. You know why? Because Shani is my job. Mercury indicates what? Buddhi, which means what? I will apply intelligence to my job. I will be intelligent in job. A person can become a good lawyer. Why? A person can become a wonderful communicator. So this is a good combination. How do I make it better? Opposite sir, opposite ma'am. Mercury associated with Shani. Oh, this is not good, sir. See, again, I told you there are pluses of every combination that we will get into later on. But generics, first we need to address the generics. Mercury indicates my education. Mercury indicates my youngest sibling. If I have two sisters, the youngest sibling here is Mercury. Mercury indicates relationship in general. So if Mercury is associated with Shani, what happens now? Relationship bitterness, friends bitterness, anything to do with love, acts of love, romance. Why? Because Mercury is all about romance. Problem. Most importantly, in children, difficulty in the process of learning. So what you need to do? Simple, sir, simple, ma'am. What? Pradosha, which comes during a Wednesday. Pradosha, which comes during the nakshatras of Mercury. Ailya nakshatram, or what is called as Ashilesha nakshatra. Jeshta nakshatra, what is called as Keta nakshatra in Tamil. Revati nakshatra. Pradosham. Simple. Next is Guru. Shani Guru combination or Guru Shani combination. Shani Guru combination, good for a job. Good. You can be a judge. You can be an administrator. Right? You will tend to actually give gyan and advice to a whole lot of people. Job will be good. Job will be pleasant. 10 people will respect you, sir. 10 people will respect you, ma'am. Now, Guru Shani combination, problems pertaining to childbirth. Why? Because Guru is the Karaka Graha for Putra. Now, I'm telling you all of this. I don't need to tell all of this, but how will you understand? How will you enjoy this process? The moment you understand, you will enjoy this remedy giving process, right? Problems to the child, problems to the development of the child. The child is mandha. He's very, very slow, right? So this is the combination. What do you need to do? Choose a Thursday, Pradosha, which comes during a Thursday, or the nakshatras of Guru that comes during a Thursday. Sorry, nakshatras of Guru, which comes during a Pradosham, which is what? Vishaka, Punarvasu, and what? You actually need to also choose Purattadi nakshatra or Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra. Any of these nakshatras, right? I don't want to complicate this by adding Tarabalam and all that. No, nothing of this is required. You just use this. This is more than enough. Go during the Pradosha, which comes during a Thursday, or the nakshatras of Guru. This problem would be sorted out. Next is Shukra. Shukra Shani, Shani Shukra. Shani Shukra, Shani indicates my job. Shani associated with Shukra, two forms of income I will have. I will be good in my job. Whatever job I'm doing, I will get money immediately. Or my intention will be to get money and I will do a job. And I will do the job also well, get the money also well. I would have a luxurious life owing to my job. Simple, sir. Simple ways to predict. Right? Shukra Shani combination, bad. Shukra indicates my wife. Shukra indicates my sister. Shukra indicates something to do with Suya Viruppam, which means what? Free will. Guru also indicates free will. Shukra also indicates free will. Delays pertaining to that. So how do I strengthen? How do I buffer? This is the whole concept. Friday Pradosha. Yes, all of you got it wrong. Right. Friday, Pradosha, which comes during a Friday. Pradosha, which comes during the nakshatras of Shukra. Bharani, Puram, Purva Falguni, or Purvashada. Choose that and worship during Pradosha. Next is if Shani takes its own Shara, which means what? Here, Shani is in Suya Nakshatra, which means if Shani in your horoscope is in Pusha Nakshatra, or is in Uttarattadi or Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra, or Pusa Nakshatra, you can use a Saturday, or a Pradosha that comes during a Nakshatras of Saturn, which is what? Pusha, Pusam, Anuradha, Uttarabhadrapada, and visit a Shivalaya where the Pradosham is being performed. Life will change. Numerous stories where people use this and their life turns around. In fact, the comedy here is some people, some astrologer would tell, go to the Shivalaya during Pradosha. They won't go this far. So they will keep going to the temple during all the Pradoshas. Some Pradosha is going to click for them now. So there are so many people who do this. They don't even know when their problem got solved. That is how common public is, right? They would have gone to the temple during a Pradosha. It would have actually connected to either of this combination, and the problem would have gotten solved, and they would have forgotten about it. They would have forgotten that they did this. They would have forgotten that they did this in the form of remedy itself. And that is how our body itself at times tells us, do this, go to this temple now. I feel like going to this temple now. That is how a lot of remedies happens. That is what we call as luck. But here we are not discussing about luck. Here we are discussing about how to create luck in your life. So once you do this, this will be good. This will be sorted out. The next is for grahas that do not give sharas in the horoscope. What is this? This is a concept in astrology which is called as Agami. Write it down. Aagami. Right? It's very, very important. Right? I will explain that to you with an example. But what you need to understand here is every graha takes a constellation of a nakshatra. That nakshatra in turn is ruled by a graha. So when you have a graha which takes a shara of a nakshatra, some people may not be able to understand. No problem. In 2 minutes, it will become easy. Don't worry. Okay, because I will share the screen. So at times, or in all the horoscope, there would be some majority of the horoscope. There would be a graha. It would be taking a constellation of a graha, constellation of a nakshatra, which is ruled by a graha. So if you actually sum total that up, and if you get a few grahas missing, they are called as Agami grahas. What does this Agami graha signify? These Agami grahas are the grahas which are worshipped by your ancestors. Not literally, okay? Like if Guru is the Agami graha or Sun is the Agami graha, there was somebody in your ancestry who had worshipped Sun, who had worshipped Shiva. Mercury, Shukra as your Agami graha. Somebody was a staunch devotee of Mahavishnu. Somewhere that would have been left. See, just imagine somebody has done 90% of the work and that remaining 10% is left. And it is not left for a few days. It has been left for ages. What happens when you touch that? It is possible of actually creating miracles. But at the same time, you cannot touch it just like that because you have not attended to it for a very, very long time. So it can unleash a little bit of negativity before it gives you problems, right? Now, before we get into that, let me first make you understand what this is, because concepts are more important. The moment you understand the concepts, you will start enjoying everything beautifully, right? Let me do one thing. Let me open Parashara Light. Okay, all of you can see my screen, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to random horoscope. All of you can see, am I correct? Now you can write this Rashi Kattam or Rashi Chakra as it is, right? I will explain, I will tell this to you so that you can write it in the order. First, draw the Rashi Kattam or the Rashi Chakra. Right. First, draw the Rashi Chakra. Hope all of you have drawn the Rashi Chakra. I'll wait for you for some time. Here. Let me just get a highlight. In Kumbha Lagna, you can put the ascendant. Right here, this is the Kumbha Lagna. You have the ascendant here. Next, in the second bhava here, you can put Chandra or moon. In Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. In that bracket, you write Guru. Right? In that bracket, you write Guru. Next, you put in this second bhava here itself. Right? If somebody needs a clarity, they are more than welcome to interrupt. Okay. Next, in the second bhava, in this Meena Rashi, you write Guru. And bracket, you write Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Again, you give a bracket to that Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra and write Shani. Right? Next, you go to Mesha Rashi. Don't write this Neptune here, that is not required. Right? Go here to Mesha Rashi and write Rahu. In that, you give one bracket and write Bharani Nakshatra. Bharani is ruled by Shukra. So what you can do is, you can write Shukra or Venus. Next here, you go to Mars, Mangala, and you write bracket Kritika Nakshatra. Again, one bracket, you write Sun. Next here, in Kataka Rashi or Karkataka Rashi, Shukra, bracket Pusha Nakshatra, bracket Shani. So if you observe, we have already got two Shanis. Okay. Next is Sun. In Ashilesha Nakshatra, write Mercury. Simha Rashi, you have Mercury. In Pura Nakshatra or Purva Falguni Nakshatra, you write Venus. Next is Kethu. Here in Tula Rashi, in Vishaga Nakshatra, you can write Guru. Finally, you come to Makara Rashi here. Shani in Avitta Nakshatra, which is ruled by Mars. Put it as bracket. So, you have the list here. What is the list here? The last bracket, what would you have? Guru, Saturn, Shukra, Suryan, Shani, Mercury, Shukra, Guru, Mars. So, do you have Sun? Yes. Give a tick mark. Do you have any graha taking the nakshatra which is ruled by moon? No. Give a cross tick mark. Right? Cross mark. Next. Do you have a graha which is taking a nakshatra which is ruled by Mars? Yes. Give a tick mark. Right? Next, do you have a graha taking a shara of a constellation or a constellation of a nakshatra which is ruled by Buddha? Yes. Give it a tick mark. Do you have a graha which takes a constellation of a nakshatra ruled by Guru? Yes. Give it a tick mark. Right? Do you have a graha taking a constellation of a nakshatra ruled by Shukra? Yes. Give it a tick mark. Do you have a graha taking a constellation of a nakshatra ruled by Shani? Yes, in that list. Give it a tick mark. Do you have a graha taking a nakshatra of, in a constellation of a nakshatra taking a shara of either Rahu and Kethu? No. Give it a cross mark. So, my dear students, let's say somebody is born today. What is the time now? You need to look into the time now. Approximately, let's say we have casted this chart for 14th of August 2022, 19 hours 54 minutes 24 seconds. Place is Jaipur, Rajasthan. So for a person who's born at this time who has a Kumbha Lagna, the Agami grahas associated in his horoscope are Chandra, Rahu and Kethu. So something associated with the Chandra in the form of mind, Kethu in the form of detachment, Rahu in the form of sudden difficulties will crop up in life. These are the Agami grahas in this person's horoscope. These are the grahas wherein somebody or the ancestry worshipped these grahas in some form or the other, not directly. And they have stopped being worshipped over a prolonged duration of time, and there has to be something done to them, not directly, because it is just like, what? You're not spoken to a person for years and years together. Suddenly you're landing up at his house. What would he say? Who are you? Why did you come to my house? He may get angry. So what do we do in order to address them, right? So let me stop sharing the screen now. So hope you have understood the concept of Agami grahas. If you have any doubts, please let me know. You can raise your hands if you have doubts. So what you need to do is, you need to pull out your horoscope and see what are the Agami grahas associated in your horoscope, right? So this is a very important remedy, simple remedy for those who have the Agami grahas and what to do with the Agami grahas. Remedy number one, do Preeti Homa for that graha associated. So in this case, a child is born. We've discussed the Agami graha. So he needs to do a Preeti Homa for Chandra. He needs to do a Rahu Kethu Preeti Homa, right? And most importantly, underline this word. If possible, do the Preeti Homa in the sthala of that graha. Of course, I'm going to be discussing about the Navagraha sthalas shortly, not in this class, the later classes, that is maybe day 5, day 6. But see, just because I'm talking about temples in the southern part of India, it does not mean, the southern part of India only has temples which are superior and which are waiting to give you results. No. Please don't run around here and there in the name of remedies. Near wherever you're living, astrology is practiced. Wherever you're living, there is a rich culture. First, understand that. First, learn to value your culture. So just because one new teacher is teaching you about astrology, he happens to be from Tamil Nadu, don't keep running here now, thinking everything here is green. No, grass is always green on the other side. In your place, wherever you are, you may be in Rajasthan, you may be in Manipur, you may be in Assam. There would be a sthala associated with each of the Navagrahas, or at least a deity associated with each of the Navagrahas. Make sure that you go there and do the remedy as much as possible. See, always value the place where you hail from, place where you come from, right? Because that is where, your guardians, that is where your angels, that is where, people who are trying to reward you in different ways are operating at benign levels, right? So first value wherever you come from, in that area which is the temple, in that area which is the deity which is associated with that graha, right? Chandra, it does not necessarily have to be, you need to go to Tingalur in Tamil Nadu. No, first give value to your place. Which means, is there a temple dedicated to Someshwara, dedicated to Somnath, or go and do the Preeti Homa in a Shivalaya during a Monday. It will definitely reward you. But for the Agami grahas, the respective Preeti Homas for that graha needs to be performed. What is this Preeti Homa? You go to the priest and tell them that, don't tell them Agami graha, because priests will have a limitation as far as the astrological knowledge is concerned. Tell them, I need to do a Preeti for this graha. They will do the Preeti Homa for you. And immediately you would find turnarounds in your life, turnarounds in your family. One family itself will be going through suffering after suffering. Entire family, one suffering after other suffering. Right? So for them, they need to do Preeti Homas associated with these grahas. Where preferably, only if there is no option, you are somewhere in London, you are somewhere in Australia, okay. But try your best as much as possible. Number 2, donate the Navadhanya associated with the graha, right? I've already explained to you about the Navadhanyas. So then changes would happen in the family. Difficulties in the family would vanish. Pending problems in the family for a very, very long duration of time, which means what? One person is having the ailment, the other person is also having the same ailment. right? So all of this would get sorted out, right? The next is for those, it's a remedy. It is not a remedy, it is a tip, right? It is an enabler, let us put it that way. Is for those people who want yogas pertaining to Vahana. Vahana means what? Vehicles, right? So you want a yoga to operate pertaining to vehicles. You want to buy a vehicle, you want to buy a new car, you want to buy a new bike, right? Before we go there, what are the Vahanas for the different deities? Anybody? No, too much of talking I'm doing. Anybody? Anybody who wants to come up with the Vahanas for the deities? What are the deities and which are their different Vahanas? Can anybody tell? If you want, you can tell, or you can actually put in the chat section.
Vinayagar, the mouse.
Good. Next, Aya.
And Karthikeyan is peacock.
Karthikeyan, Murugan, Peacock, Mile.
And goddess is Parvati, lion.
Okay, Durga, Kali, Lion. Anything else? Vishnu, Garuda, right? Garuda, Garuda. Lord Shiva, Nandi the bull. So, in order to, you can mute yourself here. In order to get yogas associated with Vahanas, whenever you're visiting temples with these associated deities, Ganesha, Mushiga Vahana. What? Mouse. Kartikeya, peacock. Lord Parameshwara, Nandi the bull. Vishnu, Garuda. Goddess Durga, Kali, lion. You worship their vehicles, right? In the temple, not everywhere. In the temple, the respective deities and their Vahanas. It will give you Vahana Yoga. It will give you goodness associated with vehicles. Again, associated with this, the next remedy associated with vehicles, for people who are doing business associated with vehicles or who want to do business associated with vehicles, right? You have a taxi service, travel service. What you need to do is you need to keep names associated with Lord Ram, Sri Ram. Or you can keep names associated with Kartikeya, Skanda, Muruga. And if you do that, it will give you huge, good amount of success in business or profession associated with what? Vehicles. Number 8. This is the next remedy. Sitting under a broken bridge or an unused bridge for a long time can lead to or will spoil close friendship between two people. See, this is something which is prescribed especially for people who are in villages. There would be a broken bridge. There would be a bridge which would remain unused, not a big bridge, just we're talking about connecting 2 points, because you would have the canals in the villages. So there would be 2 connecting points which would be unused for a very, very long time. But anywhere, any structure that you find as a bridge, it could be an over bridge. Anytime you are under that place or near that place and you're discussing something important with a friend, see that, if this bridge is unused, if this bridge is, not maintained well, right? If this bridge is broken, and make sure that you don't discuss things in and around this place. Especially in cities, you would have a lot of over bridges, and there would be a lot of structures around these bridges. And I find people telling me, when I went to this place, when I went to this hotel or this coffee shop near this place to discuss something did not happen. This alliance did not materialize. This business, I was almost going to get a deal. I was almost going to get this money to start this business. I don't know what happened. This person suddenly told a no. So, remedies, I'm giving you the concept. Now you need to take the shara or the essence of it and start looking at it from different perspectives, right? Bridge which connects 2 places. Bridge is nothing but which connects 2 places. That is one thing. Next remedy is for those who have a Venus Shani, a Shani Venus combination. One, I've already discussed in the beginning what it means and what is one remedy associated with it. But there's also another thing associated with it. One is the problems pertaining to ailments pertaining to the eyes. But here we need to understand Guru and Shani, both of them, they indicate sweets. Guru and Shukra, both of them, they indicate sweet. So when Shukra is associated with Shani, or when Shani is associated with Shukra, I've told you the pluses and minuses also. But one important minus that can operate amongst these people, that is those who have a Shukra Shani, Shani Shukra combination, is they are easily susceptible to eye ailments that I already told you. But they are easily also susceptible to diabetes, sugar ailments. So what can you do for that? Simple 50, not 50, it involves some money. You need to get up early in the morning, go to the shop and buy this. That is the only thing that you need to do. The remedy is choose a Saturday, choose a Friday. You know the obvious reason now why you need to choose Friday and Saturday, and make sure that you add bitter gourd regularly into your diet. It will remove all forms of doshas associated with Shukra and Shani. Shani and Shukra. I'm telling you, you just try it. Or just recommend this to a person. See, somebody is diabetic. Just look into his horoscope. Naturally, there would be a combination of Shukra and Shani or Shani and Shukra. Tell them, Friday, Saturday, you eat bitter gourd. You would be surprised to know the results, sir. You would be surprised to know the results. In fact, they would be telling you, how is it possible that these type of things work? But I'm telling you again, everything has a reason. See, I've been telling you so many times. What does Shani indicate? It indicates bitterness. So what you're doing, you're adding this bitterness to remove what? That sweetness which is creating a problem for you. That's all. This is a simple remedy. And so many other doshas. Let's say your wife is having health issue after health issue, right? Shukra indicates wife. Shani indicates what? Shani indicates health or ailments pertaining to one's body. Add what? Add bitter gourd, or tell her to add bitter gourd to her diet on a Saturday or on a Friday. Amazing results you would see, right? See, again, just because I'm telling amazing results, this result, that result, don't do it for one day and come and tell me all this. Don't do that. Regularly do it 1 year. 1 year, you would be amazed at that transformation that would happen at 180 degree, and you would just be amazed. So please do it. That's it, right? Next remedy. The next remedy, you can write down the next remedy, right? Is for those who are going through a dasha bhukti of Rahu, right? See, just like the Shani dasha, 7.5 cycle of Shani, astrologers are always there to also frighten you with Rahu. Whenever a Rahu dasha comes, Rahu bhukti comes, you yourself would be a frightened person. Anything everybody tells, you would start believing. Of course, Rahu has its own Upajaya houses. So when it is in the Upajaya Sthana, it gives you a lot of benefits. But Rahu itself indicates, something which is ready to frighten you. So during those periods, you would literally believe anybody and everybody, right? So what is the solution or remedy? I've given you one remedy already in the previous session. But now, for those who are going through a dasha bhukti of Rahu, or those who are going through a malefic transit of Rahu, GOCHARA of Rahu, not Kethu, Rahu, okay? What you can do is you can go to a photo studio and take a photograph. Rahu is that photo, sir. Rahu is that chaya. Chaya means what? Shadow. Or what you can do is, you can take photocopy of your documents. Whatever documents you have. You can have your Aadhaar card, PAN card. You may not be, there is no interview. There is no, visa. But simply you go during the Rahu Kala if possible. You can try it. And if you want to start something, if you want to do something and you're just worried that, you know what, I'm going through a Rahu Mahadasha, Rahu Bhukti, I don't know whether I should proceed with this. I don't know whether I should do this, whether I should do that. Or you are just feeling, you're just feeling it is not even depression, it is hallucination. That is what Rahu creates. So what you need to do, just go to a photo studio, nicely dress up, tell the photographer, sir, one photo. Photo with flash. You please make sure that you put the flash on. Tell the photographer, right? The photographer, he says, no flash. No, please put flash. That is required. Take 5 photos and come back home. That's it. That is the remedy. Then you pursue what you want to do. Or you don't want to take a photograph. Go to the Xerox shop. Xerox is the colloquial term that we use for photocopy. Photocopy your ID documents. Photocopy your ID proof. Anything that you have. Or you don't have time to do that. Just take your camera and take a selfie. That is more than enough. Regularly take a selfie. You're planning to start something, do something. Put on the flash. Take a selfie before you attend some interview, before you want to meet a person, before you're facing a person, and you're afraid of this Rahu Dasha, you're afraid of this Rahu Bhukti, you're afraid of this transit of Rahu. See, what usually happens during this Rahu Dasha, Rahu Bhukti is, Rahu is, as I told you, it is something which is imaginary. Some big, this imagination itself can lead to a lot of problem. People who go through such periods, first is you would develop duodenal ulcers, because when you're under some form of a depression, at least you should know who your enemy is. You don't know who your enemy is or what this guy is up to. So somewhere you would always be perturbed. So when you have ulcers, when you have complications, what would you do? You would go to the doctor. Or you would have chest infections, right? Asthmatic, chest infections, respiratory problems. You would go to the doctor. Doctor is going to frighten you more. What would they say? You need to take an X-ray. No, I don't know what the problem is, because Rahu and Kethu always signify something which is unknown. Something which cannot be easily diagnosed. At least a Rahu to a certain extent. But Kethu, it is like, what? We don't know what the problem is. So first thing they would tell you is, go take the scan or take this X-ray. These are the condition which is prevalent amongst all people who go through a Rahu Dasha, Rahu Bhukti, especially if they are not in the Upajaya Sthanas, right? So in order to avoid this, before this itself, you go and take a photograph. You go and take a selfie. You go to a studio and take a photograph. You go and take ID documents, which means big problems like this will be averted owing to what? Owing to these issues or owing to these little remedies. I will give you one more simple, easy, ingenious remedy associated with Rahu. Okay. This is especially for people who are having shops, who are having factories. So you're going through a Rahu Mahadasha, Rahu Bhukti, and there is some problem associated with your business. Or you're into import, export, whatever it is. You know what you need to do? The shutter is there, no? The shutter to your shop, the shutter to your factory, apply grease to it. This is not called shutter, sir. It is called as a rolling shutter. You just need to pull the lock out and it immediately goes up. That is how the shutter in the shop is. The shutter in the factory is. How does it coil up, sir? How does it coil up, madam? It coils up like a snake. It coils up like a snake. So that is the Rahu. So the moment you apply grease, this would function properly. So major problems associated with the Rahu Dasha, Rahu Bhukti can be averted owing to this. Speaking of Rahu, Rahu is cinema, because anything which is not real is cinema, right? So, yeah, I'm just getting something based on this. What do cinemas, not just cinemas, stories, cinemas, Puranas, what do they teach us? Anybody? After this, we will just take a short break for 5 minutes and we will continue. For those who want to finish dinner, for those who want to, because time is not an issue here. I want to give as much as things as possible. So if you want to finish dinner, if you want to want me to wait for some time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, okay, take a break, finish your dinner. But I will just complete this and I will give you a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break. And you can have your dinner if you haven't had. No problem, because we need to cover all important points. We cannot take points for the next session. What do cinemas, stories, Puranas teach us? Very important lesson. What? Finally, hero will get the heroine. No. Finally, hero will win. No. Who killed Bahubali? No. There is only one lesson. Only one lesson, sir. Only one lesson. The lesson is simple. Any movie, any itihasa, any Purana, any story, there is only one teaching, a simple teaching that it is conveying to you in some form or the other. The simple teaching is, when you decide to destroy some person in life, you end up destroying yourself. This is the only teaching that all these stories are telling you. It is not that good always wins, bad always. No. It is not about that. It is just that when you have decided to destroy somebody, see, destroying somebody is okay, but you end up destroying yourself. This is the only thing here. The reason I'm telling you this is, when there are difficult periods in your life, especially in the form of Rahu, where you start imagining things, you are running a factory, you are running a shop, you are doing a business, you are going for a job, some new joinee has come into the company, some new joinee has come into the company in the same position, with the same designation, with the same kind of qualification. You are running a shop, right in front of your shop, another person has started the shop. What would your mind think? Obviously, you would get insecure. Insecurity is Rahu. Jealousy is Rahu. And what would you do? In your mind itself, you would start running this movie. How do I destroy him? Today, when he is going, his leg should break. Today, something should happen to his family. The fact is, if something happens to his family, that is different. But everything is going to happen to you, because you will destroy yourself. What is the solution? When your mind is under hallucination, when you go through a Rahu Dasha, Rahu Bhukti, or let's say when somebody is coming to your company in the same position, in the same designation, and you're feeling insecure, just mind your business, sir. Just mind your business, ma'am. That's all. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen, I'm telling you. There are so many people who are running businesses after businesses. This is the only logic they follow. Whoever my competition is, whoever comes, early morning, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I will open the shutter, I will start the shop, 9 o'clock, I will close the shop, 10 o'clock, I will go to sleep. People who lead life like this are ever successful. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that, sir. As simple as that. Just do your job. Don't think about anything. Nothing will happen, sir, because all of this is your imagination only. That person will also do business. You will also do business. Who you have to get, you will get. Who he has to get, you will get. That's the only solution, simple solution, right? So with this 10 minutes break, if you want, you can finish your dinner also. We'll extend it to 15 minutes, because even if it takes time, I want to complete everything step by step, because I want to make sure that everybody learns everything completely, right? So 10 minutes break. I'm not going to end the session, because then logging in will be a little difficult. You can take the break, you can relax, and you can come back, right? Okay, so we're going to resume the session. All of you ready? I just need a yes from all of you. Else I'm ready to wait. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's continue the session. So in line to the same remedy, whenever you're having sudden dangers, sudden problems, specifically associated with Rahu, any form of a worship of Ugra Devis, Ugra Devi like Kali, Durga Devi, Varahi, can avert all forms of dangers that can come to you, right? Let's move to the next remedy. For those who have a Kumbha Rashi or a Kumbha Lagna, like just some time back, I took the GOCHARA horoscope. So the person has, who was born at the time, Kumbha Rashi or Kumbha Lagna. So for those who have a Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna, or a Dasha Bhukti is operational from the Kumbha Rashi, right? So the Dasha Lord is associated with the Kumbha Rashi, which means if you're going through a Shani Dasha, Shani Bhukti, automatically the Kumbha Rashi or the Kumbha Lagna or the Kumbha Rashi would be operational, right? Or you have a Graha seated in Kumbha Rashi, which is going about and operating the Dasha or Bhukti. What do they need to do? Number one, once they hit a low point in their life, thereon there would be a positive turning point. So what they can do? They can choose to stay in low-lying areas. Road is there, house is there. House is far below the road. This usually happens when a highway comes right in front of your property, right? Or any place which is, below the road, low-lying areas. Or they can go to cave temples. Immediately, they would start moving and progressing in life just like a lion, right? Even once they happen to, stay in a basement, like for example, Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna, or a Dasha operating from a Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna. Apartment, you're staying in a basement, guaranteed, somewhere there would be a growth and development. Guaranteed, somewhere if you go to a cave temple, there would be a development. Why this cave temple here? Kumbha is denoted by Kumbha. Kumbha itself means what? A pot or the pitcher. Pitcher, right? No, you don't know. See, some of them, they describe the Kumbha Rashi as a pitcher filled with water. Some people just have the pitcher. So you don't know whether there is water inside or not. That is the complexity associated with this Rashi. Extreme behavior, either extremely lazy, extremely hardworking, extremely, successful, or problems. So this Kumbha or this pitcher or this pot, if you turn it, if you turn it sideways, how will it look? It will look like a cave where the lions live, right? The entrance of a cave. So the moment you go to a cave temple, automatically your life would develop. Another important inference that I got from studying so many horoscopes is Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna, inevitably they would be stuck in a lift, suddenly stuck in a lift, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Automatically, they would start growing, getting stuck somewhere in life. After, this getting stuck, again a development will happen. And that would be a superb development. Why? Because the same Kumbha Rashi becomes the Kala Purusha's Labhasthana. See, give a lot of importance to the Kala Purusha. Give a lot of importance to the Kala Purusha. That is the way towards your life. See, a student had given a comment. I don't know for what I told. She told, pure gold, sir. Everything that I'm sharing to you today is absolute 24 karat gold. Okay, I'm not telling this to praise myself, but I know the kind of information that I'm sharing based on the experience that I have. Everything that you're writing down is absolute 24 karat gold. The predictive astrology session, which is going to happen, it's a revolution. It's going to be a revolution. Revolution does not mean 100 people have to join. Even 2 people join also, 2 people or all of them who are traveling with me. It's a revolution that is going to come to you, which means whatever is happening to you, whatever I'm giving to you today is like this 5-acre land, 2-acre land, 2-acre property that you buy in the outskirts of the village. Similar to, what I shared in the last weekly sharing. You don't know the value of this 2-acre land, but in 5 years, in 6 years, you don't know where this value is going to skyrocket. Don't treat this, what I'm giving you, as insignificant, sir. Don't treat what I'm giving you as insignificant, ma'am. Nobody takes time to teach you all this. Nobody teaches you this, and even if they teach you something, you don't know the amount of money they take from you. Simple things that I'm telling you, the moment you start applying in your life, believe me, the transformations that would happen in your life would be unimaginable. As an astrologer also, unimaginable amount of development. This is the only deposit that you're making as of today. The only deposit is what? Your time. This only deposit that you're giving is going to give you rich dividends. Okay. So Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna, for those who have grahas in the Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna, and they are operating on a certain dasha, bhukti associated with the Kumbha Rashi, Kumbha Lagna, just getting stuck in a place, just getting into a place which has a basement, going to cave temples, all of this can give them quick development, amazing development, right? Next, for those who are living in extreme poverty, see, extreme poverty can be different for different people, right? But according to you, if you feel that you're living in extreme poverty based on your standard, seeing an owl, seeing a mongoose, either you see, or when you're in abject poverty and you know that, you know what, boss, beyond this, life is a question mark. And if you happen to see an owl or a mongoose, don't get frightened. Luck is coming your way. Your poverty will end. Owl, Mahalakshmi. Mongoose, Kubera. That's the logic, right? Next remedy. In order to remain in top position, in order to always be in top position does not always mean that, you know what, you are the principal of a school throughout your life. No. Top position means you are having a certain standard of life. You know, when you have a certain standard of life, you want to maintain that standard of life, right? You want to be in that standard of life. So in order to make sure that you are in the top, be it in your profession, be it in the quality or the standard of your life, what you need to do is regularly have a darshan of eagle. Always you cannot see an eagle, but you have Garuda Alvar. So regularly having a darshan of Garuda Alvar. That's the reason when they see Garuda, the sky, they immediately would take both their hands and put it on the cheek, right? Tamil they say Krishna, Krishna, Pupode. Why? Because just the sight of Garuda, or just having a darshan of Garuda Alvar, right, can actually make sure that you remain in the top as far as your profession is concerned, as far as the standard of your life is concerned. There's always something associated with eagle. Or many countries, they would have the national emblem itself as the eagle. The United States of America, the bald eagle, right? There's a saying in Tamil which is, Uyara uyara parandalum, kurvi, which means the sparrow, parandahad. It won't become an eagle. So nothing can beat an eagle. A sparrow cannot become an eagle. So to be in that height, always like an eagle, see an eagle or worship Garuda Alvar. Right. Next remedy. During a Dasha Bhukti of Kethu, right? During a Dasha Bhukti of Kethu, you can write all of this down one by one. During a Dasha Bhukti of Kethu, what you can do is, number one, tonsuring your head, which is offering hair in the temple. Visiting Vinayagar temple for people in the northern part of India. Vinayagar is Ganesha, Ganapati, right? 3, visiting Playarpatti and worshipping Karpaga Vinayagar. That is for me in South India. So if you are in Mumbai, you can go to Siddhi Vinayak temple, right? So always give importance to the place that you come from. Fasting, because Ketu indicates something where you actually have to forcefully strain yourself to do something. You know, straining your body, straining your mind to do something. Fasting. Performing Ganapati Homam. See, either of this, all of this, or anything that you can do. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Sitting in a tailor shop for some time. Right? Ketu indicates tailor. What do? Cutting. First, where they would cut? The neck portion, the hand portion. Cutting is what? Tailoring. So if you have a friend who's a tailor, sit in the tailor shop. I'm telling you, sit in the tailor shop every day. 20 minutes, and then proceed with your work. Report to me the miracles that you see, right? Going to a spinning mill. Spinning mill means what? The cotton spinning mill, right? If you have a friend there, you can just visit the spinning mill. Praying to Siddha Purushas, people who operate from the Samadhi. People who have obtained Siddhis, but they do not qualify as, the traditional gurus. Some of them are gurus, like, Raghavendra Swami in Mantralaya. He is a traditional guru, by the way, but he's operating from the Samadhi. An opposite to that is what? Shirdi Sai Baba. An extreme opposite to that is people like Puttapatti Sai Baba. You'd be surprised, I have so many clients who are devotees of Satya Sai Baba. Of course, I have not established any form of connection with him. But I know so many people who've seen miracles owing to this person, that is Puttapatti Sai Baba, the late Puttapatti Sai Baba, after his death. So there is something operating from a Samadhi there. They tell me that, I do something and Sai Baba tells me to do this, tells me to do that. He guides me here, he guides me that. That is true for them, right? So things like that are recommended, especially when a Kethu Dasha operates, Kethu Bhukti operates. Like this in your area, there can be so many people, okay? I'm just giving you the logic behind this. Keep this logic and you need to apply. As I told you, give a small space to each and every remedy that you're writing, because I want you to come up with your own remedies. Right from today. Right from today, you need to start practicing. Right from today, you need to start sharing. Whatever you can do with this course, you need to do it, right? What you need to realize, or what I'm trying to do here, is I am simply attaching karakatwas or significators of the grahas. A graha signifies something. That graha is creating problem for me, sir. So immediately I take the karakatva of the graha, attach it. Problem is solved. Miracle happens. This is how remedies work. Traditional remedies, remedies prescribed owing to mantra, tantra, anything that you call, they all work based on the formulae of karakatva. That's it. So everybody cannot go to a temple which is 100 kilometers away. I don't have money in my pocket today. Now I want to do something. This is it. Take it. 1 rupee medicine, 1 lakh rupee medicine, whatever you want. The effect is the same, sir. That's it. Right. So this is what I'm trying to actually convey. Right. So automatically this Kethu would stop giving you difficulties. Difficulties like what? Litigation. Difficulties like what? Sudden break from relationship, sudden break from job, feeling, depressed, disoriented, detached from life. And it would give you luck. Right? See, this happens in so many ingenious ways, unimaginably ingenious ways. We don't know that it is a astrology or it is a karakatva which is working out. You will find some people, early morning, they will go to a particular tea shop. They will drink tea. After that, they would go for their marketing job. Success. Somebody will have a jeweler friend. He will go to the jewelry shop, friend's jewelry shop, sit there for some time, 20 minutes. Success. Like this, so many innumerable things are there which we subconsciously do. Subconsciously, what we do is what we call as luck. Here, we are not talking about luck here. Here is, how do I make this luck work for me consciously? That is what we are doing. Blindly, a lot of people do that. Blindly, some person may just have a friend who is a barber. He will go to the barber shop. After that, he would get luck. Does everybody get that luck? No, not everybody gets that luck, because it is purely dependent on what is operating in your horoscope. Right? So, I'm giving you the logic here. I'm giving you the application on how to apply it. That's the reason I'm taking so much of time to make you understand this combination, understand what this dasha as bhukti is, which is, even if you don't know astrology, I've made you understand the base. With that, you start applying, sir. Amazing, amazing results you will get. Right? Next remedy. In order to perform all forms of obstacles, not this or that, any obstacles, perform a Navagraha Shanti Homam. Homam, whatever you call it. So you go to the priest, they will put the different colored cloth for the Navagrahas, they would give the different grains and they would perform the Homa, right? That is the next remedy. The next remedy is for those who have lost something. It could be a loss pertaining to money. You have given money to somebody, somebody is not giving you money back, you've lost money, or you've done a business. There's a loss in this business, but you only know the skill. You don't know any other business. Okay. So what you can do now, you only can do this business again, which means you have failed in a particular business and you're planning to restart that same business again because that is the only way out in life, right? You've lived 40 years, 45 years, 50 years. This is the only thing that you know. What else can you do, right? So for that, what do you do? In order to make sure that you get back what you've lost, or get back by reattempting the same work that you do. It does not have to be a business always. It can also be your job or your occupation. You're stuck up as an engineer in some company. You've done this mechanical engineering. Suddenly you cannot shift your department. You're specialized in something for a long duration of time. It is not giving you what it wants to give you. Again, you want to reattempt. Again, you want to study this course associated with this department and you want to succeed. What do you need to do? Very, very simple remedy. Perform a Nava Kalasa Puja in the Vishwamitra Alayam. Alayam means what? Temple, right? In Vijayapati. This is in Tirunelveli district near Kudankulam. So Kudankulam, everybody knows, right? After doing the after doing the Nava Kalasa Puja, now you don't have to worry into what this Nava Kalasa Puja is. You just need to go there, be there, the priest would do it for you. You would be directed to do a mud bath where you just need to roll around the mud in the seashore. Do that. After that, you would get back what is lost. You would succeed in that same business that you attempted once, twice, and failed. And you would get back your lost wealth or hope. This is a very important sthala, okay? This is the sthala where sage Vishwamitra, you obtain the title of a Maharishi. So it's a very, very important place, right? So please try it out. Amazing, amazing results it gives. Next, for those who are going through a Dasha Bhukti of Shani, again and again I'm repeating about Shani because these are common things which happen. Again and again, if I'm repeating something, I'm giving you options, I'm reinforcing something, that's all. On to accentuate Shani, same thing only I'm discussing. Choose a choose a Saturday, Shani. Make and donate tamarind rice. Some of you in North India, you don't know to make tamarind rice, it's okay. You get paste, you get ready-made paste, you can make that, right? And donate. See, Shani, as I told you in the beginning itself, there are so many words in Sanskritam, there are so many words in Hindi, there are so many words in Tamil which don't have an equivalent word in English. The taste that you get from tamarind, the tangy taste, that is the closest that you can tell, or what we call as pulip in Tamil, is associated with Shani. Shani indicates pulip. So when you actually address this, you address Shani. When you address this, you strengthen Shani. It works the way it is, right? Also, what you can do is, you can offer sesame rice, yell, till. You can offer till rice, sesame rice. Look at the effort I need to take, to actually be addressable to all people, because obviously a lot of people from different parts are going to listen to this, right? And donate it. The results would be amazing. Shani Dasha, Shani Bhukti, in order to make Shani Bala, strengthen Shani. And by the way, you can also do during the malefic transits of Shani. The results you will get, dear sir, dear ma'am, will be amazing, right? Next remedy. In order to increase earnings, what if I'm increasing earnings? I also need savings. In order to generate savings and increase savings. Superb remedy, sir. Superb remedy, ma'am. Superb remedy. Please don't miss out on this, right? Immediately, tomorrow, I want all of you to try it out. And start reporting your results. Please report your results, right? What you need to do, very simple. Buy a reading glass. don't buy the shade glass, a reading glass. A reading glass is a glass which is transparent. It does not have to have power, by the way, right? It does not have to be a powered glass. A reading glass is which you have straight on your nose, you put just for the purpose of reading. Okay, buy a reading glass any day. If I'm not telling you a day, you can choose any day. If you're sentimental about a day, take some day. Take 101 rupee, 100 rupee, 1 rupee coin, or a 501 rupee, and you keep it in the cash box. That's all. This is the remedy. Immediately, all of you can start doing. Now, what is the reason behind it? I will give you 2 reasons, okay? One is the common reason, which is, if you're talking about the second bhava, what are we referring to? We are referring to the eyes. We are referring to the vision. If you're talking about the second bhava, now what else are we referring to? It is the dhanasthana, sir. It is the dhanasthana, ma'am. So both we need to address. Right? The third bhava indicates what? The third bhava indicates your nose. The third bhava indicates your ears, especially. Right? So you're having a reading glass. The third bhava indicates what? It is not about dhana. It is about vritti of dhana. So we are referring to dhana vritti here. You put it in the cash box. You should not put it in your purse. That will break. Some cash box somewhere you should have in the house. You can put it in the cash box there, right? The next logic. Any of you have a 2000 rupees note? 2000 rupees note in your pocket, you can take out that 2000 rupees note. Any of you. What do you see in that 2000 rupees note, sir? What do you see in this 2000 rupees note, ma'am? You see the father of our nation wearing what? Mukha kannadi, eyeglass. Not just that, sir. Not just that, ma'am. In that 2000 rupees note, apart from this picture of Mahatma Gandhi, especially you will see Swachh Bharat, right? It will be written Swachh Bharat and it will have a spectacle there. Everything is connected, sir. Everything is connected, ma'am. We just need to take the connection, right? So I've given the logic. Let's say, you're in America, you're in Canada, you're operating on dollars. This is the same logic. India also, this is the same logic, right? So the logic is just this, and this can lead to what? Dhana vritti and labha vritti also, right? Use it, see the result. See, when it comes to finances, stop blaming everything on everybody. Stop blaming your horoscope. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming situations for your horoscope. There are certain things which you can definitely take control of, and financial freedom is a definite must. All of you who are with me, you should be blessed. You should have financial freedom. Only when your stomach is half full. Full is difficult. Full, you will sleep every day. Half full, you can think about other people. You can do things. So financial freedom is important. Poverty is a disease of the brain. You should get rid of that, right? Simple ways in order to go about and increase wealth. Another important thing I will give you for wealth. What you can do is you can have the photographs of animals. Like, elephant. Only these animals. If you're in India. If you're outside the India, I'll give you the logic. You think. Elephant. Lion. Peacock. It should be in the house. If possible, if you have some money, see if you can get a statue of these animals. Elephant. Peacock. Lion. Made in pure ebony, which is called as Karangali. What is the logic here? Before I told you 2000 rupees note. Now take 10 rupees note, sir. 10 rupees note, ma'am. What do you see there? What do you see there? Just a minute, Aya, just a minute. So I'm sorry, I'm resuming. So having these animals, which are there, which are there in the currency that I mentioned. In ebony. Why ebony here? Why Karangali here especially? Because Mars or Kuja. which represents the Kala Purusha's first bhava. First, you need to be first in whatever you do in life. So, having a small idol, even a big idol is not required, or for that matter, big idols are not recommended. Always what I tell people is, whenever you're buying idols, it could be idols pertaining to Vigraha or Murti, especially for the house, home use only. It should just be a little above the size of your thumb. That is more than sufficient. That is more than enough. What this would do is, it would give you earnings, and it would actually go about and help you in order to get savings, or vritti pertaining to dhana, vritti pertaining to labha. Next, we are going to move on to discussing homas. Homas are of paramount importance in astrology, paramount importance in the well-being of the purusha, stri, or people in general. Why? Because yagnas, homas, havans, all of them were performed by the great of great sages for what? In order to propitiate the devas, in order to propitiate the devis, celestial beings, to bring not a control, but to intercede with the Panchabhutas. You cannot control the Panchabhutas, right? You can just partner with them. In order to do that, you have what? You have the homas, you have the yagnas, which give you immense amount of benefits, immense amount of results, right? Remember, I told you in Vedas, there is this cosmic tree, which is represented by an inverted people tree. So the Brahman, which is there, it has to function. It has to function through you and me. What is there above is there below. The only thing that you need to do is you need to channel it. So the origin of this entire universe, whatever is there, which is as a single source, is with you, with me. That's the reason you have the root. You need to water the roots from above in the form of what? Homas, in the form of yagnas. How do you give your offering to the devas and devatas? Simple. Just like you have food, and for cooking that food you need fire, similarly for the devas, devatas, to connect to them, you have Agni, you have fire, who is a deva himself, right? So this energy that you want, this chitta that you're aspiring for, if you're in higher stages of spirituality, anything to do with performing homas and yagnas cannot be omitted out. And each and every one of these homas, okay, they have a scientific basis to it. Simple, people used to make fool of us telling that, why do we have homas for rain? But later on, somebody discovered that while they were doing homas in order to go about and bring rain, the mantras they uttered, there is one part. Nobody would understand that, especially the Western mind. But the porul or the items that they were using in order to go about and proceed with the homa, and once they actually went to analyze, what comes out of this flame, took it in a test tube, analyzed it, automatically they found that, silver iodide, which is actually important in order to go about and do cloud seeding, that is what create rains, was already there with us. Now you have this concept of cloud seeding. Now you have this concept of, spraying silver iodide, owing to which you get rain. But during that time itself, there was a proper scientific basis on what porul, on what items to use, what mantras to chant, the meter in which something had to be chanted in order to go about and play with the Panchabhutas, in order to partner with the Panchabhutas and get results. The other most important thing all of you need to keep in mind is, whenever you're giving something to a Brahmana, okay, obviously for a homa, you would approach a Brahmana. Any act of kindness, any act of dhana, any act of punya, any act of dharma, you do keeping in mind a Brahmana or for a Brahmana is all about accentuating Guru. Remember, Guru is the most benevolent graha in your horoscope. So when you do something for a Brahmana, automatically Guru would reward you. And while you're doing homas, the least you should do is, see, some of the priests, they would say that, you know what, we want to buy everything. Good. Let them, give them the money. It's okay. Let them be benefited in all ways that they can. That is definitely a mandate. But tell them that, you know what, I'm just going to buy the homa sticks and I'm going to give you. Give me that permission at least, dear Brahmana. Give me that permission, dear priest. And giving sticks, giving the homa sticks, buying the homa sticks yourself and giving during the homa can increase the efficacy of the homa, can increase or, increase the results that you get owing to a homa. So now I'm going to give you a list of homas that you can perform. Now, this is purely based on the need. You have a need for something and you need to perform a homa for something. That is how we would go. First is Mahaganapati Homam. It is said to remove all forms of obstacles. Next is Santana Ganapati Homam. Santana means what? Putra Bhagya. Kethu in the 5th. Sun takes Kethu Shara. Putra is delayed. Santana Ganapati Homam. Vidya Ganapati Homam for educational development. Swarna Ganapati Homam for profit in business. What you need to do is buy one small gold coin, how much ever you can afford, right? And keep it in the puja while the Swarna Ganapati Homam is being performed. And then you take it, keep it in your house, keep it in your cash box, and profits will steadily increase. Profits means not necessarily business. Anything that you do, it could be a job also, right? And whenever you're performing homas, make sure, however playful children are, make sure that they sit there. It's very important. One is they would develop discipline in life just by merely sitting in a homa. It is okay. Let them fiddle with their phone. All of that is fine. Just tell them to sit. That is more than enough. It will cultivate one discipline and they would become religious in the long run. Right. Next, Lakshmi Kubera. We have covered the homas for Ganapati. Let's move to Ganapati is Vinayagar. Vinayagar is Ganesha, right? For people in the northern part. Lakshmi Kubera Mahalakshmi Homa in order to remove poverty. What you can do is 5 to 10 silver coins you can keep while the ritual is being performed, homa is being performed. After that, you take it back home. Now, there is a very important thing associated with this homa, okay? Once you perform this homa, within 30 days, you should go to a Shukra Kshetra. Shukra Kshetra in Tamil Nadu is Srirangam. That is where the energies of Shukra Bhagavan is at its potent peak. Equal to that, there is a place called Kanjanur, which is a very important Shukra Kshetra. So it is not about performing a puja for Mahalakshmi. It is about making sure that within 30 days, you go to a temple of Shukra. That is when something to do with, something to do with benefits associated with what? Money. Elevation of property will operate. Right. So for those of you who are in Srirangam, those of you who are in Tamil Nadu, make sure that you visit Srirangam within 30 days. Next, to get rid of enemies or to get rid of black magic, solution is Sulini Durgai Homam or Durgai Homam, right? Durgai and Kali, they have a very intense form of energy. They are this guardian deities, they are this protecting deities, and they can actually protect you with all the might that is possible, right? During this puja, what you can do is you can keep 5 lemons. 5 lemons, you can keep it in the puja, bring it back home, keep it in the home till it decays. It's okay, till it decays, 5 days, 10 days, keep it there. After that, you can put it in the flowing water, river, pond, any place. Enemies will disappear, sir. Enemies will disappear. Nobody would disturb you, right? Anything to do with black magic, that will also vanish. Again, once you do this puja, once you do this homa, you can make sure that you visit a temple of Durgai or Sannidhi within 30 days of doing this puja. Next remedy. Take tender coconut, right? Not the coconut that you get, you break the coconut, in that there is water. Tender coconut, right? Take the water from the tender coconut. Take lemon juice, right? Take coconut water, that is tender coconut water, lemon juice, rainwater, mix all three of them together and sprinkle it inside and outside the house. What will happen is any form of evilness, evil forces, negativity, all of this will vanish away from the house. Inside also you need to sprinkle, outside also. You will get the blessings of Goddess Sri Devi. Next Homa is the Ayush Homam or Dhanvantari Homam. It is for Ayul Vritti and health. Within 30 days of performing the Homa, go to the Dhanvantari, go to Dhanvantari in Sri Rangam and pray to Dhanvantari and come back. For people in North India, you don't have to travel all the way here. Give importance to the place where you are in. So there would be a alayam, or there would be a temple for Dhanvantari. Go there within 30 days of performing a Ayush Homam, Dhanvantari Homam. Right. There's another important thing that I want to tell all of you. See, whenever you're performing homas, you're doing something major, okay? Literally, you're playing around with the Navagrahas. Navagrahas, some grahas can be good for you. Some grahas could be bad for you. So literally, you're shaking up everything. It is like you're having a phone or a mobile phone or a hand phone. You have not used it for ages, sir. Suddenly, you're putting charge to it. What will happen? Right? Suddenly, all the circuits are getting activated. So whenever you are performing homas, at least for 30 days, be careful. Long travel should be avoided. Important decisions should be avoided. Tell everybody in the family to do things which are business as normal. Don't do anything completely new. Don't travel to a distant place. Make sure that you are on a sattvic diet. Don't take non-vegetarian food. These are some important things that you need to remember, especially when you perform big homas. Mrityunjaya Homa for Ayul Vritti. Next is a Manmada Radhi Homam. This is purely done in order to go about and bring about a unity between the husband and wife. There's a place in Tamil Nadu which is called as Dadikumbu, which is very famous for doing this Homa. So people in Tamil Nadu, they can make use of it. But it is done by all priests everywhere, right? Next is Punar Vivaha Homam. This is again in order to bring about domestic happiness, obviously between the husband and wife, and to aid goodness in relationship. Next is Tila Homam. See, frequently, if there are problems after problems happening in the house, owing to what? Owing to people in the family who have not given tithi to their ancestors. If there are accidental deaths, sudden deaths repeatedly happening in the family, one after another person, Vamsa Vriddhi is not there. You're not getting children, people are not getting children. Make sure that you do a Tila Homam in Rameshwaram or in Papanasam. For people in the northern part of India, obviously you have Kashi, right? Next is Dhana Akarshana Homam. It is there in the name itself, right? While doing a Dhana Akarshana Homam, make sure that you keep an idol of Kubera, right? And bring it back home. Number 27. Next Pariharam. See, for all people who have a consultation with me, majority of them, I would suggest this Pariharam. It would be like the starting remedy for all of them. Pradakshana around the Navagrahas in Devi Patnam, which is the Navabhashana Sthala, which means you have the Navabhashana, you have the Navagrahas in the water, right? Will remove all forms of dosha. It's a wonderful, potent place that everybody should visit at least once in a lifetime. Right? Of course, the priest there does the Navagraha Shanti Homam. He's not allowed to do it there. but you need to make sure that you perform a pradakshana around that place. That is extremely important, right? It can be a buffer to almost any problem and every problem in life. Next is, there is a temple specially dedicated for court cases. This is in Tamil Nadu. This is Kanchipuram district. This is Vazhakkaratishwarar temple. This is particularly for people who have court cases. Now, what we've come towards the end of today's session. Next week, I would be covering places, simple places, important places which have spiritual significance, religious significance, but the logic behind places and how to use places. Places means towns, cities, villages, and how you can actually go about and help them to help you in your life. Like, for example, I will just give you a prelude to that. Shani Dasha Shani Bhukti, sir. Shani Dasha Shani Bhukti, ma'am. What you can do? Shani indicates sea. Going to Kasi. Sea means what? Seashore, ocean. Going to Kashi. Wonderful remedy. In Tamil Nadu, there is a place called Tenkasi. Wonderful remedy. Shiva Kasi. Wonderful remedy. Understand the logic, sir. Understand the logic, ma'am. You can apply it to each and every place you are around your area. Shani also indicates what? Something which is cold. Going to hill station, right? You can go to a hill station when you have a Shani Dasha Shani Bhukti. It won't impact you, sir. It won't impact you, ma'am. Shani indicates iron. You can go to Salem. You have the SAIL, S-A-I-L, right? You don't have to go to the steel plant, but you can go to Salem, right? Or you can go to temples, walk and go to temples. You know, people go to Sabarimala walking. Wonderful results during Shani Dasha Shani Bhukti. People go to Murugan temple walking. Wonderful results. Anga Pradakshan, just like, you know what, Kethu also indicates something to do with, you know what, straining yourself. Shani also indicates training yourself. Circling around. Anga Pradakshana means body circling around or doing a Pradakshana, rolling around in the temple premises. That also can actually go about and help you. The logic here is sea, beach, Shani. In fact, iron is Shani, correct? Old iron shop, you can go and visit. Shani Dasha Shani Bhukti won't harm you. Simple remedy, I suggested. Simple remedy, okay. This is how remedy should function. Shani Dasha is operating. Mercury Bhukti is operating. Mercury is the 6th Bhava Lord and the 3rd Bhava Lord in the horoscope. Big difficulties. What is the simple remedy that you can give? Simple remedy that I give. Watch old Pakistan cricket match. Old Pakistan cricket match when you're going through a Shani Dasha Mercury Bhukti. What is the logic? Cricket as a game. See, sports as a game, it is associated with the 3rd Bhava. Competition, 6th Bhava. Leave that. But every sport has a Bhava associated, a Graha associated. What is the Graha which rules cricket? Shani. Why? He rules the Kala Purusha's 10th Bhava. He rules the Kala Purusha's 11th Bhava. 11 people, 10 wickets. Shani. Old Shani. So what? Watch old cricket match. Not old any cricket match. Watch Pakistan cricket match. Why Pakistan cricket match, sir? Why Pakistan cricket match? Green is the color for what? Mercury. Pakistan, what jersey do they wear? Green color, or the color for that country, the flag for that country is green color. So Shani Dasha Mercury Bhukti, watch old Pakistan match, Shani Dasha Mercury Bhukti, won't trouble you, sir. Won't trouble you, ma'am. Simple ways as to how you can inculcate Parihara Jyotisha, which is not complicated, which can give you stellar results, sir, ma'am. With this, we have come to the end of the session number 4. If you have any questions, I will give you 5 minutes to ask me questions. Hope I was able to add value to the time that you spent. Try to spread this news to as many people as possible. Try to bring in as many people as possible. You also start applying it. If you're interested in astrology, teaching astrology, you have my permission. Start teaching. Right? I don't want to be this person who's holding on to everything and saying, no, it's mine. No, everything is everybody's, right? There is no person in dharma. There is person in punya. When you do punya, you think of who I want to donate for what I want to donate. In dharma, there is no person. I don't know who you are, what you are. You do your work, you start doing your work, and you be blessed. So we're done with the session for today. Any questions? You can raise questions. You can either raise your hands or just come into the call, whatever you want to. I'll just drink some water. Thank you very much, Ayya. You're welcome, Ayya. Thank you. And please don't miss out on the sessions every Sunday. See, all of you, many of you are not attending because you're getting the recording, but don't do that. The interaction live with me in person is of paramount importance, right? Ashwinaya. Ashwinaya has a question. Go ahead, Ayya, Ashwinaya.
Sir, can you just brief about Agami once again, sir? Agami.
Ayya, you can listen to the video again because it will take a lot of time, right? Once you watch the video, you'll get a clear idea because it will come to you, right? Simply, you have Navagrahas. Correct, Ayya? You have Navagrahas, right?
Yes.
Navagrahas are in one nakshatra. They take the constellation of a nakshatra. Right, Ayya?
Yes.
Correct. Those nakshatras are ruled by grahas. So, which graha is not there amongst the Navagrahas? That is the logic here. Which graha does not give a constellation, right? To the Navagrahas in your horoscope. There you don't take MAANDI. Don't take MAANDI. Don't take your Lagna. The rest you take. Once you see the video, you will understand. If you don't understand also, I'm always there. Message me. Don't call Ayya because consultations will be there. I will immediately call you. 5 minutes break I have, I will immediately call you. Don't worry.
Sure. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes. Any other questions? Somebody else has raised his hands, I think. Ashwinaya only. Okay, fine. Okay, first of all, thank you. Thank you for your time. And most importantly, I repeat, what you are getting, what you would continue to get, 24 karat gold. Whether you use it or not is up to you. So you should start using it. And with this, we are ending the session and best of luck. Have a great, wonderful, marvelous week ahead. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.